All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the rundown with your boy Simply and Altinsider, and today we are getting the scoop. We have got ThaBeast and Trihex, two big boys from the Mario Maker Endless Leagues, and we're talking, as you probably can assume, about Mario Maker 2. So, starting with the Beast, what is your thoughts in general on the league thus far?
Um, well, the league's definitely like I'm enjoying playing in it a lot. Like just racing Mario Maker against anybody's always fun. But uh, I mean, I feel like I don't know what exactly we're talking about today, but I mean, there's like seems to be two teams of people in the viewership. This league is all random. Like it's luck. Why did these guys sign up? And team, like it is luck, but it's also, I think, more, strategy and skill being rewarded. It's not, I feel like the standings would be just chaos if it was all luck. There would not be people at the top as well as people at the bottom. Now, how much luck there is, because it's not the same levels, but it's definitely not, I don't think anybody can say it's 100% luck. Like, it's very
Oh,
clear at
oh
this
no.
point.
Oh no. It is so far from that. It's incredible. But I want to let you talk, Trihex. I'm a lion in a cage right now. I got a lot of thoughts. Trihex, you go first though. What are you feeling right now about this league?
Well, how I felt from the very jump here, I was always surprised that this was like the format that was concluded upon. I feel like it was always one that was like rooted in compromise. Like the GSA wanted to get a league going for Mario Maker 2 when Mario Maker 2 was viral, upon its release. So the whole idea of getting a certain amount of level creators and having dedicated levels produced on a weekly basis for some kind of like league race is pretty ambitious, requires money because you have to pay these people to do it, and it's a logistical nightmare to get these levels done on time for these races, when it's just like infinitely easier just to say, okay, let's just like use the random level creator and we'll just let the random seeds go crazy and see what happens. So I look at it like, okay, yeah, you wanted to get out there to get the league out in time. You didn't have the logistics to do the ideally fair scenario of having level creation on the weekly basis for the races, and you give this a shot and see how it rolls from there. It could be terrible, could be less than terrible, and less than terrible would to me be the pleasant surprise that may say, hey, maybe we can try a mixture of both for season 2 or whatever. That's what I understood it as. The fact that there's a positive reception to it at all is kind of super surprising to me, quite frankly. But I also don't have all the fun data to have counterpoints fed to me about how not awful this whole thing actually is, as far as like separating skill sets and it not being a complete RNG fest of whoever gets the easier free levels whenever you're doing the constant skipping and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can go in further later on here about like my issues with this as a viewer spectator sport as well, but I'll stop here for now so we can come in with more if you want.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I came in, I was like, doing some stuff with GSA. I was like, all right, let me try to commentate one of these and I'll just see. And I remember I did with you Simply. I was like, man, this, it's kind of an RNG kind of thing, huh? And I just really thought that was the truth too, until you start looking at the stats and the people that are at the top, and you see it is actually the opposite of that. And I've been so shocked by, we have two people, one in this chat right now that is 21-0 in races. And if RNG was a factor, let's say it's flipping coins, which obviously it's not flipping coins, but the odds of someone going 21 in a row is about 1 in 2 million or something like that, in terms of if it's RNG purely. There's a lot of numbers like that I could just spit out right now to show it's not RNG. But what I like about it, and I'm not saying this is perfect for the viewers, because you got to go deep to get to this level, but it does add an insane level of strategy that is above who can beat this game the fastest. Because when you're playing Super Mario 64 or Legend of Zelda or whatever you're playing, everyone is doing the same exact route to get to the end as fast as they can. I mean, maybe some people are doing baby strats, some people are doing different things, but usually it's pretty similar, And there is no strategy involved in that. It's doing the best input you can, doing the best, who could do the best performance at that time. When you add this element of the skips, and they clearly do matter, because there is a direct correlation between the number of the people that make effective skips and their place in the standings and the average clears. I mean, it's not debatable anymore. That's why I appreciate this league and how it is. That's why I like it. I'm such a fan of it, is because it does take speedrunning to that next level that's where speedrunning sometimes is lacking, right? Is there is no depth of commentary. We're watching Trihex and ThaBeast. If we had the same level, we'd be watching Trihex and ThaBeast do the same level, and who can do that the best, right? I can't talk about your strategy decisions because really there isn't any. You know what I mean? So that's why I like it. I'm sure I have more to say as well, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. But let's get to you, Sim, though. What do you think about this league and how it's set up?
I had the same thoughts as Trihex actually. When we did it for the Invitational, I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a mess. Like, because we were doing easy endless and normal endless, and that is much more apparently about the RNG, because every easy level is like very clearable. So having that be a part of the tournament is like quite literally a coin flip, because you get 4-minute levels, you get 2-second levels. They're all the same difficulty. There's not really too much going on. The chances of you dying are slim to none. So when I saw it as the format for the league, I was like, ooh, all right, we'll see how it goes. And I've been commentating a lot, and it's probably my favorite thing I've commentated, just because it is very, it's fun. It's like, I mean, it's sort of like Pokemon, but not really, because you can see the strategy. Like at first I was like, not too much going on here, but then you're watching closer, and like you said, skips are huge, of course. Like all the top players are skipping a lot. That's like one of the best strategies to have, is skipping very often. But then you also have the players who are like, they'll get caught on a level, but they'll know when to skip. Whereas there's players who get caught on a level and don't skip. They're stuck with it. They stay on it, lose a lot of time. So currently my thoughts on it, I like it a lot. And I agree that if we could, and we're looking at ways to change, how it works, I would like to see more other things tried out. And we did try something with Dave and Ryukar, and that was pretty fun. The pacing was kind of, but I'm enjoying it.
So I guess to get to the next level of this conversation, obviously we're going to do season 3 because this is the most popular game on GSA right now by far in terms of numbers and viewers and YouTube and everything. So if we had to say what team are you on, I'm going to ask both of you guys, ThaBeast and Trihex and Simply. Team change the rules. Trihex, I think I know your answer. You'd be on team change the rules, and there's team keep the rules the same, but some minor tweaks. I guess Trihex, I'll ask you, what team would you be on if I had to ask that question to you?
Change the rules, big time.
How about you, ThaBeast?
I can go in a lot further if you want, whenever you want me to. But
oh yeah, let's do it now. Let's do it now because I want to hear that.
Well, let's get what's the Beast's answer? Did you get everyone's answer already?
I definitely think there could be tweaks, but I think from a viewer standpoint, especially, maybe you see a lot of complaints about all the skipping and stuff, but if you stream Mario Maker or put up a YouTube Mario Maker video, endless is always what gets the most views. People are interested because it's variety. I think the viewers, maybe they don't know that they like it better, but definitely from the player standpoint, I agree, it is frustrating to skip, especially if you skip 5, 6 levels in a row. I don't think anybody likes that, but I definitely think it could be tweaked. I'm not very good at game balance, I guess, so I don't have too many ideas, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so obviously, I'm team stay. What about you, Sid? I don't think we know you exactly. Are you team change before we get to you, Trihex? Are you team change or team stay?
I mean, I'd have to say I'm team keep, but I would like to see some tweaks. Like endless, maybe not the best. It would be awesome if they had a seed function, like 2 players put in a number and then you get the same levels. That would be really nice.
That would be the best. That would be the best for sure.
But as it stands, I'm a fan of endless.
Okay, and just for my thoughts, yes, obviously I'm team stay. I would want one tweak, and that's the overtime tweak, because we do get that confusion sometimes with you guys, where you guys are the same score, but you got to tell each other Discord. That's kind of weird thing. Do I have to keep going? Do I not? I wish that was changed, but that's the only thing. I want to keep all the rest. But now you can go Trihex.
Okay, so to continue on here, the couple issues I have with it ultimately are the fact that particularly when you have overtime, you have a tie score, 15 minutes is up on your round. And the next level you get is such a factor whenever it comes down to who's gonna win that round. I find it to be a pretty big one, because you can get a freebie 30-second hold forward to win speedrun level that's not gonna have any bait or anything in there. It's just a very honest level. Or you can get a 4-minute long stupid thing, and you're just okay, we'll skip. You skip, you lose 30 seconds. Your opponent's if they're already in a good level, more likely to win. You have a similar skill level, I would say. When it's overtime, I feel like the RNG factor is a little bit too big for me to take it, to not have the whole competitive vibe trivialized. A counterpoint there would be that obviously if you just get good and you wouldn't be at a tie score, probably is the counterpoint there. But I don't know. I still find it's kind of like a, I don't know. I've been burned on that like one too many times for me to like not bring up that as a complaint as a competitor. But if I can continue on here, the other thing I have too is like in the beginning, and I'll tell you a little more about my journey, the whole thing here. So in the beginning, when I was playing my beginning rounds, I was very caught up on trying to like beat levels. I had an ego involved where I would like, there's a level I knew I could beat if I had more time, and I would get stubborn, and I would piss away, 10 lives on one level, which is not wise. And ultimately I would let that level get to me psychologically, and I would let that be my hang up on why I probably threw that round when I could have just skipped it and moved on. Once I started to play like without the ego in mind, I caught on to the meta that like, okay, clearly you want to skip way more often. You don't want to have any of these like long-winded levels that have various objectives. You don't want them, you skip them. You want an honest, straightforward speedrun level you can beat under a minute, look at the world record, and then try to do it. If it takes too long, peace out, move on, hope for an easier level. And so the meta, while there is a meta and there is strategy, the meta to me is kind of like kind of, I don't know, use the word boring, but it's like, all this variety in Mario Maker, and if I'm playing optimally, which I have been the last 2 rounds, I've won the last 2 rounds now because I started to catch on to what I should be doing. Yeah, I'm not looking for hard levels here. I'm looking for easy, honest, no debate, no hidden block, just kind of hold forward to win speedrun levels, and I'm skipping until I get something as close to that as possible. Any other variable, auto scroller, objective, red coin, skip. World record over a minute, skip. I'm skipping like 90% of the crap I'm getting to get that one insular combination of tags are going to be very honest and easy to get through as fast as I can as possible. And usually whenever I lose a round or a match within the rounds, because I did a level that I shouldn't have done. The level was too hard or like too whatever for me. That might be too reflective of my current skill set. I'd have to go back here and recall what levels I was skipping for what reason, whether I didn't know what to do or it wasn't super obvious where to go, and I just like wasted more than 3 lives trying to beat it. But because of that issue for me as a player, it's kind of about something that can be improved definitely somehow. But also as a viewer, you're just like, I could be wrong here. I thought viewers wouldn't really care because it's like they're mostly, you're just, I don't know, if you're watching me skip a crap ton until I get that one kind of level I'm looking for, and then I try to beat as fast as I can and get an easy world record and move on. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong on that there, but because I also found out recently to my surprise here that apparently the twitch.tv/speedrun chat actually loves the current format, and they love that it's like random as hell or whatever. So I might have some things I need to learn on my end here too, but that's generally been my complaint, is that it's like the variety out the window. You're looking for one kind of level and you're just kind of like skipping until you get that ultimately. And maybe my tactics are wrong here, but I won my last 2 rounds pretty confidently because I've been like just removing the ego and not looking for hard levels. I'm just looking for the easy levels to just like and knock them out really quickly and move on.
Yeah, just to add some stats to that, I mean, the last 2 weeks you've been doing this, if you had done this the whole year, you would be in the top 3 easily if you had the same numbers. You know what I mean? So I mean, clearly you have now got the format down. You know what I mean? And that's whether that's a good thing or a bad thing in terms of how to play. But yeah, you are a real threat now because of this change. And it's just that's how it is. I guess I want to ask you. I think the big difference here is like, in terms of the viewership and playing, right? Because we are asking you in this format, you're not doing a normal speedrunning thing, right? It's not a normal speedrunning task you're doing of getting to the end and beating hard stuff. It's a different task, right? So it's like a puzzle, I think. It's how I kind of look at it. There's an infinite number of levels you have to beat in the next 15 minutes, and however you do that, however it takes you to do that, how many can you beat? That's your goal, and it's not really as easy as get to the end of the speedrunning, normal speedrunning. I think that's it's kind of like, I can imagine, as you guys are speedrunners and I'm not, it's not as maybe fun. I mean, I think it's fair to say it may not be as fun. It's not as rewarding maybe, but for the viewers, there is that goal we can see, and we can kind of enjoy that puzzle aspect of who can do this, who can break the strategy of this format we have so well, the best, and I think that's really cool. I guess if you guys are team change, Trihex, I guess I would ask, realistically, what kind of could we do to what kind of other format would you have in mind? I guess, I mean, the seed format is obviously the best. Everyone has the same 1,000 levels at their disposal for the next 50 minutes. That'd be the best. But we don't have that. So let's get realistically. What would you like to see then, Trihex, in terms of a different kind of format?
Well, you're right. I definitely should be a bigger fan of giving you a solution-based dialogue. So before I go into that, allow me to preface here and say that whenever I won my last round and I kind of gave like a really harsh thing, keep in mind that one, I was under like, I know these interviews are usually really short whenever you interview the winner because they have the next round to do on the GSA Saturdays. So I had like 3 minutes to say something. I won the round and I wanted to like finally, not in an area of not salt, bring up my honest, candid feedback. And I had 3 minutes to do it. So I just like blurted everything out without giving any of like the positive or any of the padding I would normally give, that kind of thing. Like I don't want to give y'all a scathing tone of like, oh, I hate this. And then like, usually I like to like, kind of give like a more well-rounded opinion. I had to give all my negative because I only had like, a very short amount of time to get it all out there for you. So want to real quick here and say that I have been enjoying the rounds. It's been cool to lose to all my opponents over and over again until I finally turned on strategy and figured out what I should be doing instead. I just don't know how compelling it is, but to my surprise, it's apparently pretty compelling. You say it's a popular game on the GSA Speedrun League, and the viewers in Speedrun TV chat love it apparently. So okay, I'm learning a little bit of things here. Now, with all that out the way, though, a solution-based dialogue I'd love to have here is I would say, have we thought about the deeper consequences of like having some kind of like limitation towards skipping or like a strategy on skipping? Like skipping as an infinite resource kind of puts a further onus on like the load times between each level. I don't know if that's been a relevant factor for y'all yet or not as far as the stats go, but like if it's generally like 15 to 30 seconds per skip on just the loading time alone, I wonder whenever you're given unlimited skips, I wonder how things would change if there was like a capacity to it. Or do you find it's a bad idea?
I would think because if you had, let's say we have minimum, average skip is about 6 or 7 skips a time, and I know it feels like you do way more Trihex, but really you're skipping about a little bit less than 50% usually. So what it would feel like though is, let's say you have 10 skips and you use all your 10, and then you get to a level that's a 5-minute world record, then you're done, right? You might as well just turn off your console. You know what I mean? That'd be the issue, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how you would fix it. I guess my whole thing here was like, well, just I don't know, get level makers to make levels and prepare better. That was like what I discussed with Cheese like way back when he was like, what should we do? And I'm like, I don't know, get level makers to make levels. That way you can simulate a seeding system of some sort. But yeah, obviously at the same time here though, I didn't know that the league was going to be like weekly races for a long period of time. So it's the quantity of levels you would need and like the honor system of having everyone play them blind and not watch, I guess, like a prior week's race or whatever, or anything like that, whenever you're never going to run out of levels to use, might become an issue. So I don't know. I don't really have a great, I'm afraid here to say that I just critiqued it without really providing a solution, which I kind of hate being part of that negative Nancy camp. So I just kind of want to blurt out that, like, I don't know, like a lot of, I feel like the 2 times my 2 recent rounds I won, I got phenomenally good luck. I actually didn't do that much skipping compared to what I would usually do. I could be wrong though. But it felt like I got handed a lot of easier levels randomly when I faced off against my 2 previous opponents compared to the prior rounds. So I don't know. I don't know how to really fix it other than like, I don't know, like you just like mass download levels in your offline queue and then you everyone fires them up and goes at it. Yeah, I don't know. But I hear you though. Unfortunately, I feel really guilty that I don't have like a solution for you. I haven't really given any thought. But to be fair here, I thought it was gonna be like a little 5-minute podcast. So I didn't prepare anything here. I apologize.
It's all good. No worries. Yeah, I mean it is tough to solve. Like obviously the seed is the best thing, and if we did have level makers, like we would want them for each match, and that's like you have like 16 matches. Each match you probably need like 15 to 10 levels. That is a lot of levels a week. So just the sheer quantity. But the thing that DGR came up with was actually kind of interesting. I don't know if you got to catch it, but basically you just filter out levels very specifically. Like you have a very specific clear rate so that both players get the same set of levels, and then you just kind of pick one at a time, and they were just doing who could clear the level first, then moved on. But the thing with that is the pacing is just a little bit slower. Like you have this time in between the levels, but it was interesting. Like thoughts on a format like that?
Go to you, ThaBeast. What do you think about if we had you do a heavy filter? Even the chat can choose the filters, whatever. Sometimes whatever, get them involved, and then you choose level together and then start it. Whoever finishes it first gets a point, and then you go to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. I think what I heard is they were specifically seeking out zero clear levels, which I don't think that's a good idea because there is a reason a level doesn't have a clear. It's either absolute trash, hidden block, or it's actually really, really hard and you're not going to beat it. But having the same levels, it can be very good. I've done a lot of these races in Mario Maker 1 a while back. I've done a lot of different formats with pre-created levels, and one thing I've noticed that always happens is there are like absolute blowouts. Like it'll be like, I don't know, like somebody will finish the level in 3 minutes and then somebody else finishes in 25, 30 minutes. Like it's that big of a difference. It just depends, like especially within SMBU, most players you see, they probably, it's different, you know, you can wall jump, you can ground pound, all this stuff. A lot of the big players of the game, they like Mario 1, 3, and World, but they don't like NSMBU. So somebody like me who does like it, and I know all the tricks and everything, if I get matched against somebody who doesn't like it in an NSMBU level, there's no other way to say it. It's going to be like
that's a good
it's going to be bad. Like it's going to be real bad.
That's a good
I've seen it happen in many races. And for a viewer, that's like, well, this is pointless. That guy's ahead by so much. Like we already know who won. And you could have the same thing in the Endless League too. Like if somebody games over as well, that's an issue we see. I think there's been like 2 wins with a game over or something. But
Yeah.
I guess the main problem with the DGR thing is the levels aren't vetted. They're not tested. So you could get just the hardest, trashiest thing ever. And I mean, maybe there's a way to skip it. Like I haven't actually seen it yet, so I don't know. But you definitely don't want to be stuck in the hidden block, find 500 hidden block level. Like you'll never finish, and it's very boring to watch.
Yeah. Just to counter my own team here, my team keep the rules. We do have to think about the viewer experience here. Obviously, as a sporting league or whatever you want to call it, we do have to think about the viewer experience, and whether it's, even though I know it's not RNG because we have 2 players that are 21-0 in races. I mean, that's just unfathomable if RNG is a big factor, by the way. So we have to do a thing. The viewers, though, there's a lot of viewers out there in the YouTube comments say, "Oh, this is so RNG, it's incredible," and that thought is obviously there for someone that doesn't know. So that is something to think about, is how to if that's the thought, what people think is the truth. You know what I mean? In terms of average fan finding GSA and, oh, let me check GSA out. What is this Endless League? Oh, this is so RNG. So that's the only thing I worry about, is like getting new people into it, because it does take you a match or 2 to kind of get it. You know what I mean? And if you don't get it, it's kind of like, oh, this is just RNG. Oh, I was watching my favorite streamer, Trihex. He lost. Bad RNG. You know what I mean? It just goes like that. You know, that's what people think. I think that's something we have to think about too. You know what I'm talking about? Simply, like the perception is huge here. And at first glance at this league, it does seem to be RNG, which I think is an issue we have to deal with somehow. Whether it's more education or something, but we do have to deal with that, I think.
Definitely. I mean, and especially to Trihex's point about overtime, that is like super hardcore RNG. Like once it's in a tiebreaker state and you're both skipping to find a level, it's very much like, okay, who's going to get the next level that they can clear? Of course, you still have to clear the level. The pressure's on. Like there are variables, but at the end of the day, the RNG is much heavier there. But I did want to ask ThaBeast also about thoughts on the league and, you know, your personal enjoyment, like how you've been feeling about it and kind of how you've changed your perspective throughout the league, like the way that you're playing.
Yeah, so when we did the original endless tournament thing, even when we got to expert, I was like, man, this is like so random. Like I was like, I couldn't believe I won, because I was like, I got lucky because I saw all these really good players get eliminated round 1. I was like, man, I thought it was skill, but no, I got really lucky. But now that we're in the league, as I'm getting farther, I'm seeing like other streamers playing. And I'm like, why aren't they skipping this? You know, like it's been forever. I would have skipped this 5 minutes ago. And it's a lot of fun to play. Like I think it's definitely, you can't avoid certain things. Like I'll get a level that I'm like, this should be in easy or normal, like it just somehow slipped by or something, and there's no way around that. But with expert, you don't get levels that are like, I'm never beating this. Like anybody in this league could beat any expert level, unless maybe it's like a one trick, know this obscure tech thing. It's just how fast can you do it? Like if one player can beat it first try, no problem. Another player, maybe they would struggle to beat it, but they would. And also, you want to go fast, so you run through the level, try to do things dangerous that you wouldn't normally do, but you don't want to be too dangerous because a death sets you back so far, and then you may skip and waste time. I definitely feel like I've improved like when to skip versus like round one versus now. I feel like it's kind of almost a science. Like there's just certain things, if I see it, I don't care, I'm out. Like collect coins or dark level or something, because too much variability, you never know. But I think it's fun. I know my chat likes watching it, but also other streamers' chats, maybe, I guess my chat likes it because I've been winning, so they're probably like, yay, my favorite streamer's winning, I love this. So I don't know how other streamers are feeling, like in their communities, but I'm having a lot of fun playing in it.
Trax, I want to ask you, that's one thing before we get to that. I want to say, like, one issue I have with this league format is there is a best way to do it, and as Trihex, you kind of figured it out 2 weeks ago. If everyone figures that out, I think it might become boring, because there won't be any strategy. It will be, we have figured out the correct strategy. You know what I mean? There's a right way and a wrong decision. Right now, we're kind of in the gray area figuring out, okay, 1 minute world record is probably, anything more than a 1 minute world record is probably a skip. I think we should test at 50 seconds. I think that could be a right strategic move. But again, it takes more testing and numbers here. But I want to know why you made your switch, Trihex. What made you change your approach? And can you please encourage other runners to do that as well somehow? Because the last 4 weeks of the league, we want to get this thing popping off. If people lower on the standings also made that switch, we would have a much tighter race for the end. But why did you make that switch? I guess my first question.
So I'm not gonna lie, actually, if I can be totally transparent here, while I have everyone here, yeah, I thought the league was a joke. I didn't care at all. I didn't take it seriously at all for like the first at least 3 weeks. I literally I blew off one of my rounds because I had to it was taking longer than an hour. I think it was me versus Slade, and round 1 and 2 took longer than expected, and then round 3 was we did our pre-recorded race, so like round 3. It was already over, and it was going to be over an hour. So I was like, oh look, I gotta go. I gotta be somewhere at 11 a.m. because we did it at 10 a.m. my time, randomly on our pre-recorded day. And I was like, look, I gotta go. I'm sorry, man. I gotta drop the race. I gotta peace out. And we just left, and I just took a huge 0 for round 3. I didn't even care because I didn't care about the league or whatever. So I started taking a little bit more seriously later on. So my score, I don't even know what it is. I haven't looked at anything here, but like my score is like a combination of like I didn't care until something clicked. I would say things changed once I don't know, like I stopped caring so much that I no longer had any ego involved. Like I wasn't like trying to prove I can beat a level. I'm like, all right, this thing is so dumb. I'm just gonna start like just doing the thing that I guess they want me to do, which is just like forget beating a hard level I encounter. I'm just gonna like skip until I get the meta levels I really need to like win this competition or win this particular round or whatever. I'm not really sure what clicked. I just saw what I had to do. Check world record under 1 minute. Any objectives that lead to a huge variable and a gamble, I avoid them. Red coins, you don't know where they're all going to be at. There could be one, giant, obnoxious red coin hidden somewhere dumb and you don't even know. So red coins, gotta bounce. Dark mode levels, you already know, gotta bounce. Auto scroller in the tag, gotta bounce. If I see puzzle in the theme, I'm already puzzle. I don't really want to solve a puzzle. I want to bounce. So yeah, I'm looking for standard themed speed run and skipping everything else under 1 minute world record, and I go from there. If there's no world record, I'm usually like, okay, well I'm gonna probably bounce as well. So I don't know, it all became very obvious what to do once I didn't care about having the quote unquote satisfaction of beating the levels that would get handed to me. I just started to skip until I got what I wanted. Really using the skip tool, which I would think you'd find boring, because I'm on the edge of my seat with the skip button. I'm skipping, skip is like my speed dial essentially when I'm playing it that way. I didn't think it was that compelling to really see, but apparently I'm being proven wrong right now with y'all's stats. So that's kind of where things changed for me. I can't really say what clicked though. This was like 3 weeks ago, and again, I wasn't really caring when it clicked. I didn't care. I care now because I see now what works, and I see you guys are eager to hear feedback on my criticism and or my feedback about the whole thing. So it's pretty. So I feel a little more involved now. I felt kind of distant before because initially, again, when I told when me and Cheese were talking about it, I was like, hey, you should probably get standard levels because it's going to be an RNG S-word show essentially, and then that didn't really change. So it's like, okay, well, this is a circus. I guess we'll see what happens. I guess. And then what was your other question? You asked about what should new players do?
I wish you as the spokesperson, because I've tried, but no one knows me, so no one listens. Can you please help your other fellow runner that doesn't get that to get it, please? How can we show if you give it a shot, give the format a real, embrace the format, and I think people have more fun and get more wins, because there's some people at the bottom of the standings and they have the skill to be much farther above than where they are. I could name people, but I'm not gonna name everybody. But they have the lower, you know what I'm saying, right? They haven't embraced the format, and they're at the bottom of the standings because of that purely. They have the skill, but they haven't embraced the format.
Do you think they're not embracing it because they're being matched with like the really known players like Beast and Orator and all of them? Or do you think it's because of a different reason?
I think it's because, just like you, I think people can't get that. It's not about showing how good you are at this game purely, right? It's not about, showing off the hypest tricks and doing that. It's about understanding the problem that you're faced with in this format of getting as many clears as you can in the next 15 minutes. And I've seen some people, great players get stuck on a level for 6-7 minutes. And at that point, it's like, you're clearly making a mistake in this sport. You know what I mean? If we're playing football, it's like running backwards. You know what I mean? Like, you are just clearly not doing this correctly. I don't know if it's an ego thing or just, I don't like the format, so I don't care. I don't care about this league. I don't know what it is, but there's some people who are just not playing this effectively, at all, and they don't seem to care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly, I'm trying to think here. Maybe if there was like more tools to see what, no one was really giving me a score of like how I was doing versus my opponent each time until like round 5. Maybe that's what changed actually. Cause like when I would play, I don't have the speedrun TV stream open. I don't know if I was supposed to or not. So I never really get told how quickly I lost. I just got told that I lost a round. So I didn't know the score. The commentators in the Discord call wouldn't type out the score until someone randomly started doing that for me like 2 rounds ago. And then it's like, okay, well, actually I almost won. So now I understand what I should probably do more of what was working on this one level where I cleared it really quickly. I didn't have that feedback. So I would just know I lost. And then, round 2 go. And I lost again. It's like, okay, well, we're still doing round 3. And I'm like, why are we doing round 3? I already lost 2 out of 3. And I'd be in a pit of salt, not even care anymore. So be like, all right, well, whatever, and move on.
Yeah.
But I would tell maybe your new players, you would maybe want to like give them a little more of a template of what is an ideal round. Like, you're generally looking to spend at most, say, 3 minutes per level. If you're over 3 minutes, you should definitely bounce. I would probably maybe tell them about that. I would tell them if you died and you still don't know what to do, you should probably skip. Like, if your death didn't reward you with new information or knowledge, it might have been a cheap death. And at that point, do you want to find out how many more of those cheap traps are going to be in the level? You should probably skip. Death should give you a huge momentum on information to, at minimum, overcome what you just died to. 1, 2, world records should be checked on how long they are. 3, red coins, it's not worth it. Red coins are stupid. All it takes is one dumb coin in a stupid location. You completely wasted 4 minutes on a level that was a huge gamble, or less. I will say this though, okay, separate from this whole point here about what they should do. I would love to see the types of levels that we're going to opt to skip perhaps have an incentive to be attempted. For example, okay. So if red coin levels were like somehow fair to earn more points by doing a red coin level, I think that would be cool. Or I think that in theory is worth debating about. I don't know if I say it's cool because obviously like the red coin levels are going to vary off of how obnoxiously placed the red coins are, but I do like the idea. I can honor that they're a strategy in this current system we have right now, but it does make me a little sad that ultimately when you get super meta, you're going to be skipping like 90% of the levels. Like, you're just straight up looking for the easy stuff, which is just like random and trivial at that point. obviously, having the beast's skill set will just make more of those levels within your range to tackle on a first try basis. But ultimately, even beast is going to be looking for the easiest levels to play through, the 22-second honest on-off switch level with no BS in it at all. You're right. You're looking for that, right?
Yeah, the ideal level is a 10-second level, and if you don't find that, the ideal is 20 seconds. And usually it's a speed run, so you want to beat it first or second try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the sort of thing. I would love to see, like, actually this meta we have right now could work out big time if there was an incentive to do other levels as well. If they were not all valued the same, hypothetically, somehow. But I don't know how that would be enforced though. But there's a constructive idea I would say is worth exploring.
That is an interesting idea. Definitely something we could look at. But I see, like, let's say like objective levels, like a certain objective level would be worth maybe a bonus point or something. Then it just seems like it's even more RNG because you all of a sudden got this easy objective level or something like that. But to the point about skipping about like easy levels, I wouldn't say that they don't seem to be like that's what you're looking for. Like you're looking for a 20-second, 10-second, but sometimes those levels are hard and you end up having to skip those anyway. And knowing when to skip those is like a whole nother subset of, being aware of, okay.
That is a good point. No, you are right. Yeah. There are some 20-second ones that made me like spend 3 minutes on them, like a false security. You're definitely not wrong there.
There are some levels where like people do with the P block, the P drop jump over a barrier, and some people have just that's the goal is sitting right there, and all you have to do is do a switch block jump or whatever, and people will spend 5 minutes on it because it's all they got to do is do this one jump, and it's like just you got to let it go. You can't do the trick. You got to go to the next level. It's really, I can understand how tough that is. It's like, I know I can do this. Let me get another shot. Let me try one more time. And then you lost. The round is over because you took 5 minutes on that one clear. So it's just it kind of is really, I can see how it's challenging to let the ego go. I understand that 100%, especially as you guys are entertainers, and if you feel like skipping is not entertaining, it's even tougher to skip, right? Like, I'm just another skip. No one's gonna enjoy watching this, you know what I mean? But it's so far it is proven in terms of their numbers, people are enjoying it, you know what I mean? So I guess like just embrace the skip and don't worry about the enjoyment because people are enjoying it,
Well, here's an alternative. Okay, so let's say hypothetically you did get like a predetermined amount of levels. Let's say like you have the data to figure out that like no one's ever gonna get 15 levels in one round, right? You're not gonna get 15 levels done. So you give them a pool of 15 levels that you have created somehow, right? At which point you tell everyone, okay, well, here are the 15 levels. Clear as many as you can in 15 minutes. And you deliberately make sure that there's like a certain amount of speedrun levels, or there's a certain amount of red coin objective levels, at which point then you can evaluate them and appropriately say that, hey, we're going to value the red coin levels as a bonus point level if you beat it or whatever, but it's going to obviously be a 3 minute plus level because it has red coins in it or whatever, right? Like, I think that system where you reward a variety of levels beaten through differentiation, what the fuck am I trying to say right now? Fudge. Different levels of redemption for points would lead to, I think it will curb that level variety problem you'll get whenever people get really, really meta. And you get kind of like a bird's eye view of the player's resource. So you feel more, You feel more value behind what a player's decision making is. Like, I'm skipping hoping for something better, but I don't know what I'm gonna get. But whenever you see me on like the download screen and I have my 15 levels already downloaded, you're looking at me going through and I'm picking through, the certain styles I prefer. For example, like Beast here says he prefers the NSMB levels. Just like him, I'm right there with him. I'm like, okay, I'm looking for SMW, Mario 3D World, and SMB levels. I'm probably weakest at SMB 3 and SMB 1. So, the strategies of like which game styles I gravitate towards, whether I'm risky if I'm gonna go for these red coin double point objective levels, or I'm gonna go for all the meta, speed run only 20-second, 30-second levels. I think if you have a curated pool of levels, again, I say here 15 honestly, because you can just figure it out, would be the actual ideal. That gets me hype actually. That would be dope. Because it gives me kind of the high of like of speedrun bingo, where you're routing in real time and it's like you know, you're using 100% of your brain the whole way through, and it's like crazy to look at and witness and see.
I like that idea. 'Cause I think it does embrace the strategy of choosing which levels you do choose. You know, like, okay, well, the Beast went with that level, but Trihex went with this level. Let's see how it turns out. That's pretty interesting. I just worry about the logistics of that. You know what I mean? Like how many we have to get still a S ton of levels to get over one weekend. You know what I mean? Like how many levels does that
Can
take?
you is there any kind of equivalent of the Warp World tools in Mario Maker 2 right now? Like you don't have like the pool of like levels that everyone just like kind of like rates either good or bad in general. Like didn't Warp World have that kind of thing? Where Warp World was able to like get like 15,000 levels and like a network of like not trash levels essentially by just peer review. Do we not have that for Warp World?
So I believe they have everything we need except Nintendo has no bookmark site this time around. That was the key to it all. Like it's all you get now is a level code that is meaningless till you turn on your Switch and go look at what it is. Unless maybe if you hacked your Switch, but I don't think people would want to do that.
All right, everyone has to hack their Switch now. We're gonna add seed in. We've got it.
Yeah, okay, you're not wrong. Logistically, it is a nightmare. The only thing I can really think of at this point with that is that you just use like you use the advantage of a giant active Mario Maker 2 viewer base and tell them all to submit good level codes to this, you know, whatever, this form portal, this Google form or whatever, and then someone forces themselves to like go through and just like look at them one at a time and see what they are. That kind of sucks, but I couldn't see it being more than like a 3-hour a week task for a team to do. But you know, I completely get that it's kind of asking a lot for this whole thing right now. So I get it. I think that to me would be the best format going forward if you can solve the logistics of it. But you know, obviously, it's just like, you know, that's
fair enough.
So that's officially my pitch to y'all. Now I'm gonna, even though it was a collaborative idea that we formed here, I'm gonna patent it and say it's my idea. So this is my idea for a constructive improvement upon the format we have right now. Is doing that.
Thank you so much, Trihex, for the original idea. Very much appreciated.
Trihex format coming up season 3.
There you go.
I want to say I think though it's also important is to.
Oh, sorry. I think you cut off right here.
My man.
Ooh, he vanished. I think
Altinsider has gone missing.
You turned on toggle mute rather than push talk, so you're still muted right now, by the way.
I think he's unmuted.
I think his dog.
Altinsider's struggling with Discord. He's been using it for years, but you know, all of a sudden it's very hard.
Well, a lot can happen, you know. Maybe his dog got really excited and like ran across the room and like, whoops.
Oh, hello.
And it's like his dog unplugged the headphone jack.
That's probably it. That's probably what happened.
Ooh, or what if his dog ran across and the dog like yanked the power cord out of his laptop, but it didn't yank it out. The cord remained plugged in, so the laptop fell off the table, and right now it's like, you know, he has to scramble and pick up his fallen laptop. Oh, hey, we're back. All right, here we go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, my point was, we do have to make the big names happy, right? I think next season if we have open tryouts, we're gonna get like so insane numbers it'll blow everyone's mind and people want to join this league. But I'm not stupid. If we just have, you know, no names in here, it won't be as popular as it is now because we've got to keep the big names happy. So I think if there is a, you know, if we do, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to satisfy you guys. You know what I mean? That's also very important for this league. And if you guys, if there's a split there, because Trihex, you said before you didn't really care about it at the beginning, you weren't really feeling it. The Beast, you kind of embraced it the whole way, and your record shows that. But like, is there any way we can make it more attractive, do you think, to big names, Trihex and the Beast? I would ask you too. How can we get more people in this and embracing it? Because I mean, you know, a lot of you guys are full-time streamers. Yeah, the prize money's great, but it's not really about that. You know what I mean? It is taking a lot of your time of the week and stuff. You know, you guys are busy. What can we do to make it attract more big names in speedrunning to come to this kind of thing? What do you think? I'll ask you, the Beast, first.
Well, I think one thing with this league also maybe the people who are in it, like, so Mario Maker 2's it's like 4 months old or something, I don't know, but so a lot of people, I was super stoked. I'm like, wow, these guys, I never saw them playing Mario Maker 1, now they're playing Mario Maker 2, and then so I follow them all, and now I'm seeing them playing less and less. So it could just also be that some of these people in the tournament are like they're not as interested in the game itself. I'd be real curious to see in the next season, like I'd expect more people that are actively streaming the game most days or want to sign up and see how that goes. But I guess one suggestion, I think if GSA ever did like just a 1 day or 1 weekend, just tournament, no league or anything like that, I feel it would be very, very easy to get people to just step up and say, hey, I'll build a level, because they love to see their level played. Like, people do viewer level streams, so
This is true.
They would love to see 1,000, 2,000 people, whatever, playing their level. So many people would step up. You'd have to filter out, like, get it to the best creators. But I agree, for like once a week thing, it's probably not realistic. Like, you'd have to have so many people testing and building. But for a 1 day or 1 weekend event type thing, I think that could easily work. But yeah, I'd definitely just be interested to see if people who are in the current one sign up again, as well as like who I know that are still actively playing sign up, because a lot of them are watching too. I see them in the chat.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like, the logistics are really tough with the once a week, but it's certainly possible for a tournament. And so that's a good point. Definitely going to pass that along to the boys, because the tournament we had last time was a joke, honestly. The easy, endless for the first round, we had no idea. We were just like, so this might work, and it definitely was awful. So we'll take that into consideration.
Trihex, what do you think? I want to get your answer on that. How can we get more bigger names into this kind of, even if you talk about different games, into the GSA kind of competitive thing because it does take your time. I mean, your time is valuable. I'm not stupid. I know that. So how can we get more people, you think, into it? Because I don't think it is just as simple as more prize money or something like that. I don't think it's as easy as that. What do you think about that, Trihex?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's a battle of communication. The message you're giving me right now about strategy and tactics and all that, it's not about just beating hard levels. I think most are going to assume it's beating hard levels, because GDQ is literally beating hard levels. I assume you just copied the GDQ template, but you didn't. You did something different here. So whenever the previous example that's like the most viewed thing is what your, I guess, like prelude is, I think it'd be important to communicate what that is. So I don't know if it's part of the overlay or not, but I would definitely communicate to both the runners and the audiences here that it's about decision making and strategy. Most raw tech skill of Mario Maker second, I would say. So communication on like what's being demonstrated as a skill set is one thing you definitely want to tackle. I'm always a huge fan here of accessibility being a priority. I think that whenever speedrunning appeases to the niches of the niches, that ultimately your scene is on its inevitable decline. The reason why you see, for example, Mario Odyssey or Ocarina of Time and SMW 1 all have thriving speedrun communities, because like there's minimal, like, mundane, rundown, arbitrary lockdown rule sets. It's kind of like run whatever you want to run, however you want to do it. You want to do 16 star, cool. 32 star, cool. 70 star, cool. 120 star, cool. No BLJ, cool. Damageless, cool. OOT, there's like a billion categories. SMO, Mario Odyssey, there's like a billion categories, because everyone can run what they want to run. There's no like overarching like confinement of like what is allowed to be enjoyed, essentially. So what I'm getting at there is like Beast's idea, for example, just like a YOLO open weekend. Yeah, you should try to always bridge the lower skill to the veteran players as often as possible. Like, I don't think anyone new coming to the scene wants to go one toe to toe with like Orador and get bodied, round one, and then get knocked out. I think minimizing that sting by having big, fun, goofy races, and getting a bunch of like, again, big, goofy amounts of level creators to just give you a level off the top. I think that'd be cool, actually. I think that'd be fun. I agree with Beast as well here that idea is pretty solid, because level creators do want their levels made. The biggest fear is that they have no meta traffic driving what they make. So they'll make a cool level that took them 10 hours to build, but then no one's playing it. So they have like 0 plays, 0 clears. So they're just hopeful for anyone to play the level and give them some kind of feedback on the whole thing. And contributing to a race is like guaranteed eyeballs on it, as well as players playing it. So you feel you get fulfillment out of being a happy level builder, I would say. So I do like Beast's idea. I do think communication will help you go a long way on conveying what you are enthusiastic about comparatively. Alt.
Yeah.
And I really think if you could do any of the things I said about my idea, wink wink, my idea, wink wink, you would get universal. I think you would get happier current Mario Maker RNG favoring viewers, and you would get happier traditional speedrun competitive vibe people as well. You would get both. You would literally solve every problem overnight if you executed as much of the pre-seed with variety levels having different incentives as quickly as possible.
Definitely will be talked about. We have a lot to talk about from here. This has been a great conversation. I'm glad you guys have come on. We got about maybe 5-10 minutes
So
left.
productive.
I do want to ask, starting with the Beast, in relation to streaming, in general, not league related stuff, but Super Mario Maker 2 has been out about 4 months now, and like you said, some people
correction, we have the exact number. Someone in my chat told me it will be 3 months this Saturday.
Oh, okay. There's our correction. 3 months this Saturday. Super Mario Maker 2. You mentioned some people, kind of losing some interest. For you personally, how do you see the longevity of Super Mario Maker 2 playing out?
Well, so it's interesting because it's a game of literal infinite levels. Like probably the max amount of possible levels is a number that you can't even think of. It's so big, but at the same time, like Trihex said, it's about to be 3 months, but people are already hungry for new content. Like I was pretty happy to see on Twitter, Nintendo made a tweet about Link's Awakening, and every reply was, "Hey, when can we play multiplayer with friends? When can we play multiplayer with friends? Blah blah blah." I was like, wow, people still care about this game, because it does seem like a lot of the people who were streaming Mario Maker 1 a lot, we're still all streaming Mario Maker 2 a lot, but it seems like a lot of the people who were, playing it at the start, they're kind of losing interest, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just because they just wanted to play it for a while, but if Nintendo could give us new content, like add in an enemy, well, now you got that enemy bouncing off of 30 other enemies and 5 different themes and everything. We have to hope they haven't forgotten about the game, because eventually people do and will get bored, even though you can never run out of levels. But you start to see things repeat. You're like, oh gosh, these levels all look the same, blah, 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 invisible block. But I think the game's in a really good state. It's just, we definitely want the new stuff from Nintendo.
Yeah, for
And
me,
Trihex?
it kind of bleeds into like 2 things here. One is like what I complain about, and 2, what that affects for the streaming stuff. So, how Mario Maker 2 right now, I agree with Beast. It's in a good spot. The content is healthy. There's like way more for me to do than I have time for, including multiplayer right now. I do think we all kind of were promised the update for friend multiplayer online. I'm still waiting on that too, because then you would have like, as a streamer, I hate to keep making about me being a streamer versus me being a player here, but as a streamer, I would keep the directory relevant more often, longer term, if I can do more of what makes me strong on Twitch as opposed to YouTube. As a Twitch broadcaster, my ability to interact is like what sets me apart from a static YouTube video, right? So the idea that I can directly race against people in my chat, call them out and destroy them, or I can call out, for example, Beast, and be like, yo, you want to do a cute race? We can make it competitive. We can make it non-competitive. We can make it 5 gift subs to the loser, or 5 gift subs to the winner from the loser, or just keep it fun, whatever. You can do whatever you want, right? Like whenever you can like ultimately assign who you're playing with, the interactable possibilities are just like tenfold by comparison now. So yeah, the directory gets a huge rejuvenation. People who don't even play, who probably moved on now, would come back in just to like body their friends, because it's the equivalent of essentially giving online to Mario Party now. You have like a native online Mario Party. Yeah, now you're gonna like trash talk your friends and want to destroy them, essentially, right? And the same thing for Mario Maker. So that comes to mind, one. But the one that's really hitting me right now is that to an extent, I'm a little demotivated to try some harder levels at times because there's no editor peeking. I didn't think the lack of editor peeking on levels would affect me, because it's such a small change that was like kind of like silently happened. You know, they didn't really announce that was going to happen at E3. Just kind of, you know, the game came out and then we all found out you can't edit levels that are already downloaded that are not created by you. And what that led to now is like, I'll get a hard level that I can't solve, that I don't know how to solve. I'm just like, well, I would normally go and edit on Mario Maker 1, you know, maybe remove the solid blade, see what's behind it, see how this beanstalk works. It's kind of this really ingenuity, like, cool little thing they got going on here. But now with no editor peeking, I'm just like, I end up thinking, okay, it was probably a dumb hidden block somewhere. I don't know how to solve this section. I'm lost. It's zero clear. It's some obscure Japanese zero clear hard level that I got in Super Expert. And I give up because am I going to sit here and waste an hour trying to figure out what happens when it just could be a hidden block somewhere randomly? I don't know. So I just don't care. So I get a little demotivated, and that happens to me more often than I wish to admit, unfortunately, with the lack of editor peeking. So I'm really hoping, I don't know, it's kind of like a lost cause here, but I would hope that they can meet me halfway with that one. I get that, like, you know, level pirating was a problem, but man, the level peaking is just like, ugh, oh man, I don't know. I get it. You don't want to remove the magic of how the level functions, but like, I feel like you're just kind of like, whenever you halt information like that, you just kind of like stagnate like level innovation. Other level creators can learn from other ones how they're making their cool contraptions or whatever, etc. So I really want to see that. I really want to see multiplayer or friend list, friend lobbies. I'm sorry, I was saying it wrongly here. Friend lobbies. Those are probably my two biggest wants right now for Mario Maker as far as what update goes for Mario Maker 2. But how do I feel it's going to survive long term? Yeah, if they don't start updating content eventually, like B said here, again, he's saying all the right things actually. Viewers and players alike are going to compartmentalize all of the things you're seeing over time, the same trends. We're seeing the same stuff. You know, throw items through tubes on 3D World, same stuff. You're going to see, I don't know, whatever, you know, you'll see, as people get better, you'll see more and more of those obnoxious like spring jumps in Mario Maker 2 be more of those like hard levels to clear. As we go along further, you're going to see more of those like mandatory super jump 3D World only hard Kaizo levels or whatever. You're going to see more and more of those things. And eventually, with the lack of diversity in content, you're just gonna know that you're gonna see some hard 0.00% stuff over and over again. So yeah, and eventually it just will get, I don't know, stale. So hopefully they'll fix it up a little bit. It's weird because in Mario Maker 1 we got updates every like 3 months. You know, the game came out in September 2015. We got checkpoints. We got checkpoints in November 2015, and then we got hard mode, red coins, lock keys, and some other stuff all like March 2016, and then the game was dead. Essentially, minus like really silent patches that just kind of like nerf things left and right. So, you know, here we are now, 3 months in, or about to be three months in here, and we have no update. So I don't really know what Nintendo's planning right now. It's hard to pinpoint. Sorry, that's kind of a word salad there, but that's kind of like all of that is how I feel about Mario Maker 2 right now.
Sure. So they got to update their stuff. That is the gist.
Yeah. If they update their stuff, then we can survive. The directory will survive fine. The viewership will do fine, and you won't feel like you're at a conflict between like what you want to do and what gets views. Essentially, it's always best whenever you know whatever you want to do, whether you're me or Beast or whoever, coincides with what keeps you, sustainable as a broadcaster or YouTuber. So
sure.
Yeah, we're just waiting on. I mean, the natural step here is friend lobbies. You give us friend lobbies, boom. I'll be quiet for a full year. I'm hush for a year. I'll be so happy. So if Kimishima-san or whoever want to just like come down my chimney in their Santa costume and just say here's friend lobbies in November, I am quiet for a whole year, dude. That will feed me for a long time.
Awesome stuff, guys. I mean, this is really, really good stuff here. We got future ideas to think about the present, past, everything. Before I let you go, though, I gotta ask one question here. I always said if I got an interview with TriHex someday, I'm gonna ask this. I'm kind of like consider myself the biggest speedrun historian, speedrunning nerd, whatever you're gonna call it. And I always thought if I had TriHex, I'm gonna ask this question to you. So I'm gonna take advantage of this time here.
Hey.
You're a calculated guy, TriHex. I know that. You think about everything you're doing. When you made the jump, and I think now it's safe to say you're a variety streamer, was it a calculated change, or did you make it in terms of okay, I see where this is going. I think this is where I can do everything I want to do. Can you talk about the transition there? Was that a calculated decision, or did it just happen naturally for you?
Ooh, I'm a variety streamer now. Okay, I didn't.
What do you think about that?
No, it's cool. I try not to dwell on the labels because it's just like then you'll overthink about like what you're doing versus what you're perceived as versus what you want to do. So to answer your question, the reality is you may perceive that I'm variety now, but it's actually that I'm finally a healthier minded person. You see, before, and I'm trying to take up too much of your time here on the whole thing here, but when I did solo Yoshi's Island, 2011 to 2015, I was actually trapped. My self-worth was directly tethered to how good I was at the game. Like, because I was the most viewed Yoshi Island speedrunner, but I was like at worst 8th place on the top 10 leaderboards. I felt incredible guilt about how I had all this viewership, but I didn't have the world record or the times to back it up. So I felt like I had to get better at the game. But at the same time, though, Yoshi Island's a very, very hard game. If none of y'all played it, it's a very, very hard game. It's a very long game too. It's a 2.5-hour speed run when you're good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like it takes a long time, and honestly, the reset points are like stupid. It's like you're not even like the first major level you even care about whenever you get to like the top 1% is like, it's 20 minutes in. Like level 2 is the first time you get like to the really hard tricks. And then the hardest trick in the game is an hour and 45 into it with the 5-4 skip, which is very, very hard. It's 50 plus perfect. It's 50 plus flutters with very little room for error. Like you can easily fail for a lot of reasons. I don't want to call them frame perfect, but like a lot of them are pretty much 3 to 5 frame windows of like amount of height lost to not die. But again, without getting too wordy here. So the whole point is that like, Yoshi Island required a crap ton of time to optimize when I had to like, balance, working at my regular retail job and being a part-time college student. So I didn't have the time to get better at it ultimately. I had to like kind of do what I could there. So that beat me down for a very, very long period of time. And it wasn't until I got into working out that I was able to like kind of like separate the art from the artist and my performance from my self-worth. And with working out, I was able to like finally like break through that and just kind of like work on really reevaluating, am I playing Yoshi Island because I feel an obligation and guilt to be better at the game because of how I'm perceived? Or is it because I actually want to play Yoshi's Island because I love the game? So I brought it down to my core. I figured it out. I did that. I worked out and did Yoshi, got back in, bounced back, got good at it. Got up to 2nd place by March 2015. At which point, then I took, I forgot what happened next. And then, I don't know, like Mario Maker happened like 3 months later and then, or 6 months later. And then from there, I was like, it was crazy. I blew up and everything else here. So what happened then is like Mario Maker was the first time I ever like really enjoyed a game as much as I did Yoshi's Island. I had like a long period of time where I wouldn't play other games, but every game was just like not as fun as Yoshi's Island. So I kept coming back to Yoshi's Island. It was kind of a trap essentially. So whenever you say I went variety, what actually happened was I was for once finally freed up. Other streamers, by the way, would like, play their game. Like, I don't know, maybe like ThaBeast would play like Mario Maker, but he would occasionally, maybe you'll occasionally play Black Ops 2 or you'll occasionally play, I don't know, Fortnite or whatever. Like you have a healthy variety. You'll play other games. I played purely Yoshi and very little, and I mean very little of anything else from 2011 to 2014. Like it was like 99% Yoshi's Island. Very, very monotone. And honestly, in my opinion, very, very unhealthy, I would say. Unless you have like a lot you can do in your one game, like OOT, for example, which you could not do in Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island was not like a game you can do a lot of different things in, I would say. So I finally got freed up, and naturally, I would say that I actually was a solo Mario Maker streamer until like 2017. Like for 2015, 2017, I did Mario Maker exclusively, ultimately, which also led to me getting burnt out on that game in the same way I got burnt out on Yoshi's Island because I played it for 10 years straight. So now that I'm variety, it's more that I'm just like kind of like I have a speedrunner competitive mindset, but I'm finally exploring other games. There are so many games I've never played that if I wanted to speedrun something else, I would feel guilty because I'm just blindly choosing another game, not really picking the one that has me intrigued as much as Yoshi's Island did. So I've played very little JRPGs. I've played very little other platformers. I'm not in the Nintendo library. I have not played. I mean, dude, there are so many games I have not played, dude. I have not played an FPS since Halo 3. I have not played an RTS game ever. I have not played barely any JRPGs that are not Pokemon or Nintendo related. there are so many games that I feel like I have not experienced. Persona comes to mind, Final Fantasy, etc. That I would feel guilty committing to any other game right now when I haven't even like experienced other games altogether. Like I'm free. I'm like the genie from Aladdin. I'm finally free from that guilt. And I'm not against speedrunning other games right now. It's just that I really, really, really want to see what else there is there. Like, could I have hopped on Breath of the Wild, for example, in 2017? I could have, but I thought, no, this was awesome. Zelda is fun. By the way, it's my first Zelda ever. Let me play Twilight Princess. Let me play Wind Waker. Let me play the other ones here. Let me try them all out first, and then we'll see what I want to do when I get caught up. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just kind of like free flowing a little bit everywhere at this point. But it is technically variety, if you want to call it that. But it's really more that I'm a speedrunner finally out of my shell and looking for the next game essentially for the last 2 years.
Awesome. Good stuff there. That was really.
Sorry, that was a lot there. I apologize. There was no short way to put it. I'm sorry about that.
It was awesome. Okay, we'll let you go now. Obviously, we can go for another hour probably, but let's end it here. Awesome talk about Super Mario Maker. Awesome talk about everything. A lot of stuff to think about. Simply final words before we send it to the boys for their final shout outs.
Thank you guys so much. This was very insightful. It was awesome to hear your perspective as a runner in the league. I've been really enjoying commentating the matches and watching you guys play, seeing your decisions. Looking forward to the games you have upcoming, and good luck with your streams. I know you guys are both planning on doing that, so I hope it goes well, and I love you.
Final words to Beast.
Yeah, shout outs to everybody who watches me or watches this league. I'm really excited for the playoffs, I guess we're calling it, coming up. I have no idea who's going to win. Like, there's so many people, especially if people start changing their strats.
For sure. Trihex, send us home.
Yo, big shout out to the GSA League. Nothing but love at this point. I'm feeling the love right now. I love there's actually a feedback form here. That's fantastic. Shout outs to Simply, shout outs to Alt, shout outs to Beast. Beastly, I'm a huge fan, by the way. I don't know if you see, I've liked so many of your video tweets every day whenever you're throwing out the daily highlights. Dude, you are indeed a beast. I have not known you very long. I think our first time meeting together was either at GDQ 16 if you were there, or it was at Mario Masters Coliseum 1. I don't know where we first met, but obviously your name is valid. You have earned that title, sir. You are indeed the beast, and then some. So keep it up, man. I'm a big fan. I'm flattered that you even, I don't know, are here right now with me, because you're gross, man. You're a legend. You're it. You're the real deal. Keep it up. But yeah,
thanks.
Thank you everyone again. Nah, son, dude, like, God, all I can say is, look. I hope I'm like within like your shooting range of skill. I would love to see you hop on Yoshi Island, just see how crazy. I wonder how quick you could adapt to it. I wonder how much of your Mario Maker skill just applies to naturally everything else.
Crossover stream incoming, guys.
Yeah, honestly, look. If you gave me a challenge game, I would match you if you ever want to do like the epic crossover. I don't know if you speak anything else here or not, but
I'll keep it in mind. I got a couple games.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, slide my DMs. Let me know what's good. Because, like, man, I feel like a lot of people. I know I'm monologuing a lot here about Yoshi's Island, but like, until you've really played it, it's not like, you know, because I know it's technically marketed as Super Mario World 2. It is nothing like SMW 1. It is like a whole different beast, dude. It is so different. Like, it's like comparing like peanut butter and rocks. It's like totally two different things. One's a food and one's a mineral. It's like not even the same freaking spectrum, honestly. So,
ladies and gentlemen, the throwdown is incoming. Look at this. What a way to end this thing. Trihex challenging the beast to an epic throwdown crossover stream coming to your DMs at some point in the future. Follow these men on their Twitters. You got to learn when this happens. Maybe GSA is going to get on this. We got to air it somewhere. We can do that for you. Let's get out of here, guys. Thanks for your time. Awesome stuff.
All right. Later, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.